connection is weak. So I want to talk to you guys on why I keep a food log. Um, so when I signed up and started as a coach 2 years ago, initially the food log was just to see what I was eating. It was to track like, okay, so if, for example, if I was eating pasta, someone would suggest to me to change like the pasta for whole wheat pasta or zucchini noodles, the noodles, or you know what I mean, to find substitutes. And over time, over the past 2 years, I slowly been implementing like instead of butter, first I used coconut oil. You know what I mean? Like then like switching out like regular white bread for wheat bread, just slowly rearranging things to see how uh, I can go better and more healthier and more organic and things like that. And after that's happened for the first year and a half, I would say, I really got a grip on like what I should be eating and how much I should be eating in portions. The past 6 months or so, it's been a little bit different on why I food track. So I food journal because I'm paying attention to how my body reacts to it. The thing is, a lot of chemicals and stuff is injected into our food or sprayed over our food or whatever to give it a longer shelf life. So then we're putting that into our body and then our body's reacting to it. I am paying attention very closely to like what I eat and then how I feel afterwards. So, for example, like a food baby, that's a very common phrase because America is awesome at normalizing dysfunction. A food baby is your intestines getting inflamed from a bad reaction to food. It's not like, I mean, it is probably because you overate, but it's also your body reacting to the food itself. Um, like I know I if I eat too much carbs, I'm gonna get that food baby, but my stomach's not happy. I know when I have dairy, instantly I look like I'm 3 months pregnant. It is the weirdest thing and it is painful and it's not worth it. I also know if I eat beef jerky, which isn't frequent, some candies that I I just can't because otherwise my stomach, not only does my stomach hurt, so it's not worth it, but my energy dips. So paying attention to those things. So tracking food isn't just so you can see what you're eating, what's healthy, what's not healthy, what how much water you're having, how much sleep you're having. Those are all things we talk about in our boot camps. It's also to see if what's good for you, like you specifically as an individual digesting food. Um, if you notice, like we have someone in our group that can't eat blueberries because her body just doesn't handle it well. There's certain people that can't have certain oils because their body just doesn't handle it well. Um, Paying attention to, I would say, the first half an hour to 24 hours because you can always go back into your food log and be like, oh, so I've never reacted to those, but I ate that yesterday and that's probably why my stomach's upset today. It's just paying attention to how you physically react to food afterwards. I know someone that can't eat eggs, so she does. Oh, I forgot the name of it, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not to be like a health nut and like be obnoxious and add another to-do list to your life. It's loving yourself enough to be like, I'm not eating poison ivy today because I'm effing allergic to poison ivy. You know what I mean? Like, I am going to avoid poison ivy because I do not want to break out in hives with poison ivy. So I'm going to avoid it. It's the same thing with food. It's the same idea mentally with food. I'm just not going to ingest those foods because I don't want to die in the bathroom for the next 6 hours. It's just the same process. I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that makes some clarity on food logging and food journal. Initially, it is a good start. So you could be like, oh, I ate that entire box of Wheat Thins. Okay, I won't do that again. I'll only eat half the box. It's first to acknowledge those kind of things and just being mentally aware. And I think it was Darren Hardy who said it, that if you want to change something, first you have to track it. And if your stomach is upset and you have brain fog and fatigue in the middle of the afternoon and you're feeling like cloudy all the time mentally and you have no energy to keep up with your kids and all that stuff, if that's you, track your food for a week, more than a week. You know what I mean? Track it and see if that makes a difference for you. I know that I used to survive off of my kids' leftover food, like mom guilt, totally mom guilt. And I also would survive on Tyson chicken. Like that's it. Like that was my whole meal. I would put 3 chicken strips on a plate and put it in the microwave, and that would be lunch and probably dinner. And then I discovered vegetables. But it took time, and it does take time, and it takes portion control. And we have no negotiables in our house. So like I have a weakness for like 3 different types of cookies. They're just not welcome in my house. If you bring them in this house, like you have to remove them. Like you eat them. I can't eat them. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. I have no self-control with that, so I know it's not coming in the house. Same thing with candy. Hazel has no self-control with candy. You say the word sugar to her, and she's like, "That's the reason you can't have sugar." So those kind of things we just don't welcome in our house. And a lot of times, like, people, I don't know why society's all effed up, but look down on us because we want to eat healthy and we want to feed our kids right. And people like me are made fun of for being, I don't know, crunchy. I don't really know that those, I'm like, I just don't want to feed her processed crap. But it takes time to learn, and watching my kids is the same thing. So I food journal for me, but I'm also very aware of what I feed them, because I'm like, oh, she's so friggin' hyper and moody. Hazel, Scarlett eats anything and she's fine. Okay, so Hazel gets really hyper and moody. I look at what I fed her, and it's probably processed food. It's probably a lot of processed food for like an entire day because she's a picky eater. So that explains her mood. That explains her energy level. The same thing works for us. There's this commercial in the 90s. I just dated myself. And I remember it specifically, clearly. I remember it clearly. It was like a soccer field. It was probably like a milk commercial or something, because that's obnoxious. A soccer field, and all these kids playing soccer and kicking the ball. And then there's this one kid that's like slowly going after the ball, and he's like in a fry costume, because the idea was that his parents fed him fries for breakfast to come to the soccer field. So all these kids are full of energy because they had the proper nutrition before they went to the soccer field. And then this one kid is like, which would be really more in America, but this one kid comes in slowly, and he's all like lethargic and feeling like crap and can't keep up with the ball because he didn't have the right meal to supplement to give him enough energy for soccer practice, if that makes sense. So I think, like, I always relate that back to me. Like, I am feeling super sluggish. What did I eat? What didn't I eat? Did I have enough vegetables today? Did I have enough water? Instead of going for another 5-hour energy, or going for another coffee, or going for another energy drink in general, try water. Your body can produce its own energy. It is capable of that. So just try to chug more water. That's probably what your body needs. I have a very strong opinion on like medications and stuff, and how that's the last resort for us, because I was misdiagnosed. So I was on a lot of medications for a long time, and I felt like a zombie for a long time, and I felt miserable for a long time, and I slept 16 hours a day because I trucked it, because my doctor made me chug it for a long time. So that is a last resort. So I would change my diet, and my kids' diets, and my husband's diets before I would suggest a pharmaceutical chemistry project to ingest in our mouths. I like to think back to like the caveman period or whatever. You know what I mean? Like a long time ago, before we had all these pills that like 70% of Americans are on. I'm getting way off track. It's okay. 70% of Americans are on antidepressants from like 6 years old all the way to death. So if you think about how people were before, medication, this daily pill to solve all your problems, this Band-Aid, was commercialized. How did they solve the problems? How did they deal with daily life? How did they deal with stressors? How did they deal with anxiety? Because they had it. They had it. They just didn't put Band-Aids on it and ingest pills that some scientists made up for pharmaceutical reasons in a lab. You know what I mean? So chances are, way off track, you probably just need more vegetables. You probably just need certain proteins. You probably just need like the right combination of food, instead of trying to find that right combination of medicine to make you feel better and alive again, coming from someone who would take handful of horse pills a day. Dyslexia, that's what that was. Okay, I would take those, and it didn't solve anything. It just numbed me, and you know what I mean? I just slept. I didn't have any feelings. I didn't have any emotions. I truly believe that how we fuel our bodies and how, like, taking the food and figuring out how our body naturally reacts to it is the key to a lot of our problems. Okay, like the mom brain, the fog brain, the energy dips, the soda, the coffee, all that crap can be solved if we take care of ourselves the proper way. And I'm like a prime, I feel like I should be like on a billboard for it, because I took so many pills and drugs in my life to solve my problems, and they didn't solve anything at all. They did not solve anything. And you know what? My daily water, my daily dense shake of nutrition that everyone mocks me for, that's changed my hypoglycemia. So my daily vegetables, my daily fruits, my daily meats, like all of that, I can keep up with my kids. I used to be like tired walking up the stairs, and like my heart would be in my chest. I had sleep apnea, which I had that like CPAP machine. I'm your like that was me. I was overweight and I was not breathing in my sleep. I was over medicated. I had shin splits. So every like 20 feet, I had to stop and almost cry because my shins were on fire. And all I did was change the people who I spend my time with, which wasn't that hard. And then I changed my diet and how I fueled my body. No more Tyson chicken all freaking day. No more kids' chicken nuggets, because I can't throw away their food and fuel myself. And I don't get mad. I'm gonna lose some followers, so bye, Felicia. It's not mom's diet. Moms don't need to be on a diet. It's a household thing. It's not like I want to get healthy, but F the rest of you. All of us need to get healthy. It's very easier, because this is how I did it. It's easier to start with you, then move on to your husband. Sorry, David. And then he doesn't listen. He doesn't even listen when I'm home. So start with you, move on to your husband, and then move on to your kids, and slowly change all their food dynamic in the house. Because you want them to eat healthy too. You want them to grow up and feel strong and not go through all the crap you went through, right? That's not fair for you to be like, I'm healthy over here with a six-pack and running laps, but you, sir, you get McDonald's fries and frozen chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not fair. I hear banging. Kids. So I hope that makes sense. So I track food, started to see what I was eating and pay attention to what I was eating, and now it is strictly to see how my body reacts and see if it's a good fit for me as an individual in my system, or if it's a good for my kids as individuals in their system. Because what Hazel can eat, Scarlett can eat, and what Scarlett can eat, Hazel can eat, and same thing for everyone else. So I hope that helps. You guys are awesome. I'll talk to you guys later.